Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Maverick podcast, and it is Mock Draft Monday. So we are going to try what I call the youth movement strategy. We are only going to take first and second year NFL players. Let's see what kind of team we can build, and is this a viable strategy for your fantasy team this year? Well, you definitely want to check it out. Here we go.
Listen up. It's time for the Fantasy Maverick podcast, starring the guy who's going to help you win that fantasy championship, Jimmy Maverick.
Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Maverick podcast, and it is time for Mock Draft Monday. And so we are going to try another strategy to see what kind of team we can build and see if this is a viable strategy for you when it comes to your fantasy drafts this season. Now, last week, I did one that went actually very well. I did what I called the contract year strategy, where I took all contract year players. It's all players coming off their rookie contracts, not some of the guys coming off their leader contracts like Allen Robinson. No, it's all guys that are in like their third or fourth year in the league. And we built a very good team. It actually rated very well on the Fantasy Pros draft site that we drafted it on. That was great to see. And we're going to try one today, and I'm going to call this one the Youth Movement NFL Draft strategy, and where we're only going to take first and second year players. We're going youth upside. You look last year at some of the second year players like DK Metcalf and Calvin Ridley and how they just exploded in their second year. Well, that's what we're looking for here. We're looking for players that have that kind of upside. And so let's just go ahead and do it. So before we begin, I want to invite you, please go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. That is where my draft tool is located, called My Perfect Fantasy Draft. You can access it right here, and if you haven't tried it before, you can access a free version of the app just by signing up. That's and so you can access the standard points list, and you can see all the ratings on the players and look at their ranking and values and all that sort of stuff. If you like it, you can unlock all the features of the app by paying $19.95 for a one-year subscription, using it on as many leagues as you want. And let me tell you what, it's going to absolutely raise your game on draft day. This is a very good tool that's going to help you find the best players at each and every round of your draft. Now, once you click on My Perfect Fantasy Draft, it takes you in here. It's going to ask you 3 questions. This is just the quick start. So the first question is, how does your league score points? So we're going to do a half-point PPR draft. Do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? We are not going to use that because we're going to use different filters to show us only the first and second year players. And then do you want to enter draft mode, which we do. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a mock draft from the 6th position. And the reason is because there's only one player in the first round that is a first or second year player. It's Jonathan Taylor. There are a ton in the second round, so this is a good strategy if you're picking at around the 5th, 6th, 7th spot, or if you're picking right at the end of the first round, because there's lots of great options for the second round. So let's just go ahead. We're going to put in a 12-team league, picking 6th. So you just have to select that, and then we're going to go enter draft mode. And so you can see the player list right here. Here is the position filters, and then down below it, what's popping in here is going to be the round filters. So we're going to look at, it's going to show us each round of the draft, and it's going to be customized to us picking from the 6th draft position. So when we're looking at the second round, we're looking at all the players from our second pick to our third pick. And so if you're in a different league, in a different draft position, it's going to show you a different group of players, because it changes from however your league, how your league is set up. Very, very useful to help you narrow down what players you should be looking at. We also have some recommendations here. We're going to minimize that. We're not really going to follow the recommendations just because it is, we're going with this strategy. We're going to see how it works. And so oftentimes the filters don't impact the recommendations, just the player list down below. So like when we're looking here, this is the first round. These are all the players between our first round pick and our second round pick. The little hands are called reaches. What that means is those guys are going to be long shots on the next round. And the gun means that they're a long shot for this round. So, guys like Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, they are expected to be gone by the time it gets to our 6th pick. So, but let's go to the player filter. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this show me only filter. This is a new filter I added. And we're just going to show only the rookies and the sophomores. Okay, so that's all we want to see. And so you can see here for the first round, it's showing us 3 players, but really only one of them is the first round player. Jonathan Taylor, expected draft position 6th. These other guys are second round players. Because of our draft position, by the time we get to our second pick, Antonio Gibson will probably be gone. Oh, I'm sorry. Antonio Gibson will be a long shot for the next round because of our second pick is going to be probably around pick 18, and he is going at pick 19. So it's very close that he may or may not be available. Cam Akers is a guy who is not expected to be available by the time he gets to our second round pick because he's going at pick number 14. So, but you can see here, Jonathan Taylor rates very well, 46 VORC points. I analyze all the players based on their value, outlook, reliability, and consistency. They get points. It's these 4 columns right here, by the way: value, outlook, reliability, and consistency. They get points based on how they score on each of these categories, and then those points are added up, gives you a VORC score. Any VORC score over 40 points is a good player to draft. I like players that score at least 40. Between 30 and 39 is very marginal. I try to avoid any guys ranked lower than that. You can see that both Antonio Gibson and Cam Akers do not rate well for a first-round pick, so they don't score real well here. So, and it's mostly because of the value. Their value isn't very good relative to where we were picking it, pick number 6. So they will look better in the second round. But now this is on the mock draft simulator on Fantasy Pros is what we're going to run this thing. I've already started it for the first round, so it already shows Jonathan Taylor is available. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the second round. We're going to go one round ahead. We're going to see what players we can look at, and then we're going to put those players on the queue and see who makes it to our next pick. So you can see here, look at this. See how Antonio Gibson is a long shot to make it to us in the second round. Long shot means 50-50 or less chance, but it does happen. But even so, he doesn't score real well as a second-round pick. He's still under the 40 VORC points. But you can see here, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, one of my favorites. Love Clyde Edwards-Helaire, is my top-ranked player. Najee Harris right behind him. They're both very, very good as second-round picks. J.K. Dobbins is a okay player, marginal, again, less than 40, but in the 30s, so he's okay. Value isn't great at this point, so I don't like that. Antonio Gibson also, and then Justin Jefferson does not rate well on the VORC score. Again, part of it is he's a little bit overvalued, but also just the regression risk. And that's what I'm most concerned about with Justin Jefferson and why really I wouldn't be interested in taking him here. But let's go ahead and we're going to put all these guys on the queue so we can see who makes it to our next round picks. So we're going to go, you can see, I already started them. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Najee Harris, Antonio Gibson, J.K. Dobbins, Justin Jefferson. So let's go ahead. We're going to take Jonathan Taylor with our first pick. And then we will see who makes it out of this group. And it looks like everybody made it. Okay, so that's really nice. So again, my top choice is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I just love him for the second round. I think he's gonna show so much upside. Everyone was so disappointed how he did last year. He's just being undervalued. And I think we can kind of compare this in a way to Melvin Gordon's second year. I don't know if you remember, but in Melvin Gordon's rookie season, the dude got like 250 touches and 0 touchdowns. It was totally unprecedented. So he had this massive discount on the draft board in year 2. And I remember I took him in a bunch of leagues. And what does that guy go out and do first game? He scores 2 touchdowns. First game of his second season. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen with the improvements to the offensive line in Kansas City. I think his effectiveness is just going to go through the roof. Obviously, he's not going to get as much volume as someone like Melvin Gordon did on that team. You know, what was that, five or 6 years ago? But again, awesome player. Love him. I took him last week too. But anyway, let's go ahead and we'll take Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now, let's look to the third round on the app. And why are we doing it this way? I'm doing it this way because I want to, because the draft simulator, usually when you're in a live draft, you have time between the picks to kind of look at who else is available, set them up on your queue, talk yourself into who you're going to take and everything. But in this, it just goes bam, 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 bam after you make your selection, and it's your next pick already. So we're going to do this a round in advance, and we're going to see who's available. And so we're looking at the third round, who's available. Well, we got CeeDee Lamb, who is a reach, which means he is a guy that will probably be available in the 4th round if we don't take him here. CeeDee Lamb, again, one of my favorite players to take right now. I love the upside of Lamb. We also could take DeAndre Swift. So we could do robust running back here, which is certainly a very viable strategy. Although I am not thrilled with DeAndre Swift, he rates pretty well for the 3rd round. He'd be our flex play. I'm not thrilled at all with what Detroit's going to do. I think they're going to be bottom 3 this year, but you've got volume, you've got participation in the passing game. That's all pretty good, so I'm good. I'm good with taking him as my 3rd running back. But of course, I love CeeDee Lamb too. If I wanted to go with that, I think CeeDee Lamb's going to be a wide receiver 1 this year. Again, he's this year's Calvin Ridley. But let's go ahead and cue both those guys up. So CeeDee Lamb and DeAndre Swift. So there's Swift, and let's get Lamb on the queue, and we'll go ahead and take CEH. Boom. Love CEH. Okay, now look at that. Swift left. Swift is gone. CeeDee Lamb did make it to us. I think, we should take him. But let's look to the 4th round to see what players we're going to be choosing from in the 4th round. And so you can see CeeDee Lamb is actually a long shot for the 4th round. So if we want him, we really should take him here. And then look, we have Travis Etienne, who does not rate well. He's a very poor value. I think that's the biggest knock against him right now. He's not rating good on the outlook either. Not a great choice. I'll go ahead and I'll put him on the queue. Let's see here. So let's go to Etienne. Again, not thrilled with taking him. Again, he's a reach also, so he's a guy that will probably make it to the next round. Let's just look at the 5th round as to who we would be looking at. Okay, so the 5th round has a ton of options. Oh, and look, there's somebody that we need to take. Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Atlanta. I was looking at what tight ends qualify here, and it's either Pitts or you got to go all the way down to Cole Kmet. I think there's one other guy, and they're not good. So really, we got to take Pitts in the 5th round, and I could gamble and see if he would make it to the 6th round, but I don't think it's going to happen. But here's what we could do: we could take someone like Jamar Chase, in the 4th round, and grab him as our wide receiver too. I think it's a solid choice. It's not the best option. It's a little bit overvalued, but I like the prospects for Chase this year. I think he's a really good option. But let's go ahead and we'll queue all these guys up. So we got Chase, Ayuk, Higgins. Okay, so we'll get all those 3 receivers. Where are you, receivers? Okay, so Jamar Chase, Higgins, Ayuk. Oh, look, they're all right together. Okay, and then we got Pitts. So let's go ahead and put Pitts on there. Where's the tight ends? Oh, I think it's up. Tight ends. Pitts is right there. So you can see George Kittle is still available. So this is the other thing, man. By doing these kind of strategies, you're kind of locking yourself out of choosing what most people would consider better players, right? And so that's why we're running the strategy to see if it is a viable strategy. And then who else do we have? Etienne, and then James Robinson. So let's go ahead and put Robinson on there too. All right, where are you, Robinson? There we go. So let's go ahead and take CeeDee Lamb, again, one of my favorite receivers for the upcoming year. And you can see that basically everybody we wanted made it to our next pick. Now we are at the 4th. So we were talking about, when you look at Jamar Chase versus Travis Etienne, Jamar Chase has better value, although it's not great. Look at the ratings on these. Oh, that's 5th round ratings. In the 4th round, when you're looking against what would be the 4th round pick, if we let's see here, is Chase on the list down here? No, he's not. Okay, so again, not great VORC scores, and that's a problem. That's a problem with this strategy right now. Is we've got kind of a drought of players, but I think let's just go. And like I said, we're going to go for the upside. We're going to take Jamar Chase, like we said, and then we'll take Pitts as our 5th round pick. And go with that. So let's go ahead and draft. Okay. And let's look at the 6th round here and see what happens. Now, 6th round looks, okay. Jamar Chase is still on here as a long shot. Okay, so we could take our quarterback. We could take Justin Herbert, or there's Javonte Williams. So those are 2. And these other guys, as you can see, we got a bunch of long shots to make it to us in the 6th round. But Herbert and Williams, we'll put those guys both up here. So Herbert and Javonte Williams is right there. Okay, it looks like they took James Robinson a little early. Travis Etienne still on the board, right? So Etienne actually should have already been gone as a 5th round pick. How does he rate? Not great. He's still not great. He's not a great value. That's the problem with the players outside of the running backs outside of the top 3 rounds is you get this. So we talked about 5th round. We're going to take Pitts, because we can't miss on Pitts. He's the only tight end that qualifies. So let's go ahead. We'll take Pitts with our 5th round pick. And you can see, a lot of guys went away, but Herbert is still there. Javonte Williams is still there. So again, all the long shots did not make it. When we looked at the 6th round, all the long shots were taken. So we could take Herbert here. Herbert I have tagged as a regression player, so I don't know if he's really a great option. I think he's probably he might fall back a little bit. That's the risk. That's the risk, is that expectations are so high. But you got to realize, man, changing coaches, change an offensive plan. They have put in some nice weapons for him. So I think he's going to do good. But is he going to be worth the pick? That's what we're looking at. And when I have someone tagged as regression, it usually means that they're not going to be worth the pick. They're going to they're going to regress from what they did last year, which was an outstanding year. So let's go ahead. Let's go to the 7th round. Let's look at our 7th round options. And look at this. We got some good options here. Look at this. We can take Chase Claypool. There's Herbert. Jerry Jeudy, Michael Carter, Trey Sermon, Zach Moss is the one that doesn't thrill me here. But we do have some really good options for next round. So let's get those guys queued up. So Claypool and Jeudy as far as wide receivers go. Let's see here. There's Jeudy and Claypool. Okay, and then it was Carter and Sermon. Love both those guys. I'm big on both of them. So let's see here. We've got Carter and we got Sermon right there. So I think because of where we're at right now, and there's, we could take Javonte Williams as our 3rd running back. He is not a great choice, though. I mean, when we look at what is his projected value, we're at pick 67. His projected value is 120th overall. And so he only scores 10 VORC points. It's not great. It's mostly because he's so overvalued relative to his draft position right now. And he's a guy that could possibly make it to the next round. Next round, he'll be better because he won't be quite as overvalued, although I don't think it's going to matter given that his value is at 120th overall. So let's go ahead. Let's take Herbert. We're going to take our quarterback now. So we're basically loading up all of our main pieces here. So awesome. So let's just take Herbert. I'm comfortable with taking Herbert. Even if he is a regression risk, I think it's gonna be a good offense. They're a good offense. So you can see here, look, Javonte Williams did make it to the next round, but we could take another wide receiver here. We could take Jeudy. We could take Michael Carter or Trey Sermon. We need to make a decision here. That's gonna be kind of a tough call for the 7th round. Let's look at the 8th round players, and who do we got? Okay, we got another good option, Devonta Smith. That actually nice value. Jalen Hurts, there's another quarterback that fits our requirements. We've already got our QB. We don't need another one. So let's just go ahead and we'll put Devonta Smith on the list. And where are you? There you are. And so right now we got 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers. So we really need to take another one. And I like the idea of taking Michael Carter as our flex. That's a great option. And again, we've got really good wide receivers still on the board. And we could go, Jerry Jeudy maybe makes it to the next round. Devonta Smith most likely will. So let's go ahead. Let's take Carter and see what happens. So Carter's going to be our 3rd running back. And look at this. Oh, look, Trey Sermon and Devonta Smith both made it to the next round. That's excellent. So now we're in the 8th. Let's look at the 9th round players. What 9th round players do we have? Oh, some nice choices. Look, Laviska Shenault. Love Laviska Shenault. I love going for him in the next round. And then we've got A.J. Dillon and Joe Burrow. Those guys do not score very well. Burrow still has the injured tag. So once he gets that injured tag removed, he's going to be rated much better than he is right now. But let's go ahead, and we don't need another quarterback. We're already done there. So let's put Dillon and Shenault on the queue. Oh, boy, I love the idea of going with Shenault as our 3rd wide receiver. I really kind of love that a whole lot. And, oh, I'm sorry. Who was the other guy? Dillon. Oh, yeah, A.J. Dillon right there. And Laviska right there. Okay, so given that we can get someone like Laviska on the next round, I'm totally fine with passing on Devonta Smith. Let's go with the upside of Trey Sermon. Again, plays behind a low reliability player. He plays behind Mostert, who can't stay healthy and is old. Mostert is old. Remember that. So let's go ahead. Let's take Sermon for the upside, and we'll see who makes it to the next round. Did it take it? Oh, did they all go? Oh, they all got. Oh, no. Someone took Shenault. Oh, geez. Okay. All right. So we got to look to the next round to see who's available. And again, not great. Oh, boy, look at this. And it's just Trevor Lawrence. Oh, shoot. Okay. So this is a problem. I did not expect that Laviska would be taking that early. And so as you can see, we're kind of out of youth options right now until, we could go Michael Pittman in the 11th round, so there's a bit of a drought right here. This is a problem with this strategy. So I'll tell you what, let's just look at best available on the board. Let's see what we can get. So we really do need to get another wide receiver. And so if we look at who's it recommending? Daryl Henry. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to remove the filter so we can see everybody, and let's look at wide receivers because we do need a wide receiver. Well, Curtis Samuel, he rates pretty good, even though I got him tagged as a regression player. He's a pretty good value here. Let's see, is Samuel still available? Are you still on the board? It doesn't look like he's on the board either. No, he's gone too. Shoot, they took all the wide receivers early here. Is Landry still there? Landry's gone too. My goodness. Okay, so we are kind of looks like we kind of got sniped on all of our wide receiver options. Now for the 10th round, you can see Hollywood Brown ranks very well. He's good value here. We could also go for an upside player like Mike Williams. I kind of like the idea of going with Mike Williams. He should still be there. Yes, he is. All right, so we're gonna take Mike Williams. But again, for the 10th round, when you engage the filters, there's not a lot of good options here. So let's go to all. And even for the 11th round, just not great. So, okay, well, let's go ahead and we'll take Mike Williams. And I believe Mike Williams is a contract year player, so I like that. Okay, and we are now to the 10th round. Let's look at the 10th and 11th round players. Again, real drought. 12th round. Boy, okay, so look at this. This total 9th through 12th round, just a complete drought of the kind of players we're looking for. So I think we just got to go back to regular strategy and look at best available and go with that. So I'm going to remove the filter here. And for the 10th round, I think we do need one more wide receiver. Any good options here? Well, is Hollywood still on the board? Let's see. Is he still there? No. Pittman is. Let's see who's over here on the running backs. Who do we got? Oh, Darrell Henderson's still on the board. Darrell Henderson is a player that ranks very well, and he should have already been gone. So for the 10th round, if we go Henderson, all players. and you can restore. See, you can restore a player that should have been taken in an earlier round, and it will put him into the list and adjust his fork score for that round, so you can see how he rates. And you can see Henderson, he rates pretty good. He's a marginal player, but I love the upside and I love the breakout potential here. So let's go ahead. We'll take Darrell Henderson. Let's go ahead and draft him, and then we're going to go to the 11th round. And we can, let's see here. So it's recommending Cole Beasley, Matt Ryan, Rob Gronkowski. Again, we've got our quarterback. We got our tight end. We do not need another one. Let's see who makes it to us. Pittman's gone. So let's look at the wide receivers. And not great options. Let's see here. Who do we got? So Gallup. Is Gallup still on the board? He's probably gone already. Yeah, he's gone. Of course he is. So we could look at the 12th round wide receivers. Waddle is interesting. He offers top 100 value. And one of the nice things about Waddle is the first game of the season. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Will Fuller is suspended. So we'll be able to see if he does anything. And where is he? Oh, I bet you he's gone too, because everybody's gone. I don't know how this happened. Let's see. Yeah, of course. Jeez, man. This draft is being rough on me here. All right. So, T.Y. Hilton, not a great option, but I do need a fourth. Oof. I've only got 3 wide receivers. Let's go ahead. I'll take Hilton. I know he's busted. I don't really like him, but geez, man, this is a rough draft. So let's go to the 13th round. Let's see if anything is showing up for the first and second year players. Any options? Ruggs is an interesting choice. Top 100 value. Mooney, Rager. Let's see here. And we've got 3 more spots. So we'll have to take our defense. Okay. So there's Ruggs. Ruggs is still available. Again, top 100 value. So let's go ahead and take him. And let's see here. 14th round. Any players? Rashad Bateman, 2. We don't need him. I think I'm just going to take. I think I'm going to take a backup running back here, like a handcuff. To let's see who's available. Darrell Williams, right there. Let's go ahead and take Darrell Williams. And then for our last pick, we're going to go ahead and take a defense. I'm interested to see what this looks like, but like I said, doesn't seem to be a really good strategy. You kind of run out of players right in the middle of the draft. That's not a good thing to see in these sort of drafts. But I said it before, I'll say it again. Denver Broncos defense, love them for this year. Love the first 3 games of the season. Just outstanding matchups. So let's see what it gives us. Whoa! Thumbs down. They do not like this team. And you know what? I got to tell you, I tried a mock draft earlier using this strategy, and it gave me an F. So I think we can just check this one off. Youth movement draft strategy. Not a good strategy. So reviewing this team, here's what we got. We got Justin Herbert as our quarterback. We got Jonathan Taylor and Clyde Edwards-Helaire as our running backs. I kind of like that. I mean, that's good. Wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase. Again, I can see why it's a risky combo, right? I do really, really like CeeDee Lamb, and I think Jamar Chase has outstanding upside. Kyle Pitts, obviously, very risky as a first-year tight end. Michael Carter, I like Michael Carter. I like Trey Sermon. And then we had to go off strategy because there wasn't any players. So we took Mike Williams, Darrell Henderson, T.Y. Hilton. Then we came back, got Henry Ruggs, who actually is a nice option. Darrell Williams, great handcuff to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And then we finished it off with the Broncos. But I don't think this is a winner. I don't think this draft is a winner. So that's my recommendation. Do not go for the youth movement strategy in your fantasy draft this season. So, but that's why we do these things. We want to see what kind of team we can build, and is it worth the pick? So anyway, hey, thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. What do you think of this draft? It's not that great. It's not great. I'm not happy with it. So, but what would you have done differently? Or, could we have waited on taking one of those later quarterbacks, taken, Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence instead of taking Justin Herbert when we did, and maybe we'd get another, good wide receiver or running back in that spot? That would certainly strengthen the team up a bit, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, there you go. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked it. I'm going to be, like I said, I'm doing podcasts 3 times a week. And so stay tuned for that, and have yourself a great fantasy day, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.